Welcome in to a not great edition of the Cavalier Connection tonight. Unplanned live show. But it had to come on and just speak a little bit to the shocking news today. Coach Tony Bennett announcing his retirement. And I know tomorrow, 11 a.m., a press conference has been announced. I was hoping I got a text. And my phone's been blowing up since this happened. Texts from all sorts of people, almost like I've had a relative that's passed away. You know, just as I was hoping the first one I got wasn't real. When I first heard, it's like no way, and I immediately found out yes way. So disappointment. We all love Coach Bennett and wish him the best. Jay, what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is our first emergency pod. And I don't even know because are we actually live or are
We're live. We're
we're
live.
live? Okay, I
We're
didn't know if we
live.
were releasing this later.
No, we're
Yeah, I mean, I found out from you. I was home from work, taking care of some things, not on my phone, and um reading that text, and I knew it wasn't something that you would joke about, um and so immediately my first thought was something has to be wrong with his health. Thankfully, I think so many people probably thought that, it's been leaked out by a lot of different professionals that there's nothing wrong with his health. So he's 55 and he's decided to walk away. And then, you're hearing and reading a lot of rumors about um, this being tied to NIL and just not wanting to really be a part of the way that things are going. But then I've also read he wanted to be in the program still or around college athletics still. I'm not going to say our program specifically. Um, so just shocked, man. And when you read, it literally feels like somebody in your family died. That's what it feels like to me. Like, I don't know any other way to say it. I
I've
mean,
heard from people tonight or today, this evening, that I haven't heard from in a few years. In a few
yeah,
years. And my phone was going off. It was going off. It was going off. We wanted to come on right away. I know we just had individual things going on. Life was happening at the
right.
same time. I mean, I had baseball practice for the kids. I had I had to leave. I had like 15 minutes after I heard I needed to be at the baseball field.
Yeah. Um, we don't have to give him his flowers today. Obviously, I don't think today's the day for that. But um, I wanted to read a quote from Coach Leonard Hamilton, Florida State. Tony Bennett embodies everything a high quality basketball coach should be. He built strong relationships with his players, worked seamlessly with his administration, and earned deep respect nationwide, not just as a basketball coach, but as a person of great character and class. His presence will be deeply missed. I mean, even when you read it, it's like other people feel like us. Like that reads like somebody who's no longer with us,
Yeah.
you know? And man, it's just a sad day. There's no other way to describe it. It's sad because as a number of people will say, um, he's such a good person, and the program. It hasn't been announced whether it's going to be Sanchez or Williford. We kind of know it's going to be one of those two. My money would be on Sanchez.
The rumor mill saying Sanchez.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get official word on that tomorrow. The question is, will it be on an interim tag, or will they just put the trust into him and basically tell him to go? Sorry, I didn't put my phone on vibrate before we started.
I think he's gonna have the interim tag and have the season. Just all the things I've read. But
You said you think he's going to have the interim tag?
yeah, I think it's interim tag. Plus, I mean, you got to think this is so sudden because earlier on I was wondering, did they have some wind on this or, but they said I guess 30 minutes before it came out he met with the team and that's when the team found out. So it was definitely.
And there'll be speculation. Was this something that was kind of a plan of his all along? Because back in like May, when we were talking, along with some other outlets, that we don't think he'll be here in 2 years, then we were made to kind of look foolish because he signed that extension through 2030. And now this happens. So was it like one of those things where, he kind of saw the writing on the wall, but maybe, he just thought, things will change between now and the season. We'll probably get some type of regulation on NIL and all those things. There's rumors out there of all kinds of things. I don't even want to speculate on the rumors because, it doesn't do anybody any good.
We have no zero insider information. So
yeah,
I hate to speculate on anything. The biggest thing for me was I was happy to hear that it's not a health related for him or his family. And we'll talk about this another time, but they got to put the Tony Bennett statue needs to be out in front of the JPJ
for sure.
And I'm hopeful that the future will be bright. But Jay, what we've lived this, and there's people older than us that have lived this. There's people, Jack, he's lived a great college basketball UVA upbringing here.
Yeah.
So, it hasn't been a lot of success to this nature. There's been sporadic success. And Terry Holland early on, in the 80s and all had some continued success, but you got a Ralph Sampson player, and then Jeff Jones had a little bit of success. He had some success.
Yeah, Holland had some after Sampson even, but nothing to the degree of this.
Of year in and year out.
Right.
I was going to post just a few days ago, Virginia was picked 5th in the ACC, and I was like,
yeah, that's wrong.
Last year, they're definitely going to finish in the top 4. Tony Bennett basketball at Virginia, always they found a way to the top 4 in the ACC. And then you sent that text to Jack and I had seen it on X. I think Danny Neckel maybe posted how many times Virginia was picked to win the ACC. One time.
Right. How many times did they win it?
And I
think it was 6.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And growing up for us, we were hoping to win 9 ACC games.
Yep. Make the tournament.
That's going to get you in the tournament. And now, I mean, God.
I think it's tomorrow for me in a perfect world, it would be announced that he's going to be the general manager of basketball at Virginia. And if that's even something that exists, and that was something you text me, so I'm gonna give you credit for that.
Well, I actually it was texted to me.
Say what?
It was texted to me as an idea. So
yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah, I think that's the best case scenario for the program is that he is around it and in it and able to still be a part of it, and then hopefully what I wouldn't want to see is that like in 2, 3, 4 years from now he goes off and ends up at like Wisconsin or something like that. I feel like he's home at Virginia, and maybe administration is where he sees himself being is something that he can do even longer than coaching. Coaching is something that, it takes a lot out. You think about the recruiting that you have to do, and now with NIL and
so much more now.
you have situations like what happened at UNLV. Now, that was on the coaching staff there, but like the kid just leaves 4 games in because, now he didn't get the money he was promised. I totally get that. But like having what I'm trying to get at is having a student just say, I'm gone. Because I'm not, maybe they just say, I didn't get enough money, or I want more and you're not going to pay me. So I think Tony's been very clear. He doesn't like the direction that college sports have been heading for some time. So that all makes sense. And like you said, the first things first is health seems to be great. That was a concern. I even had texted you maybe his father's health or something was failing. I mean, all things that you hope aren't true, and that seems to be the case. So if he's just decided enough is enough at 55, I mean, you and I have talked, that's kind of when we want to retire.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him on cavaliergold.com and
Tony, I know Tony's listening right now. Go to cavaliergold.com and go ahead and siphon up that IRA.
Yeah, get that IRA backed by gold before this coming election, and that would be great for the Cavalier Connection for sure.
Yeah, I saw I know you've been doing the same. I've just been reading and Rick Carlisle had put a statement out and how they talk all the time, and he said that Coach Bennett had turned down many NBA coaching opportunities since he's been at Virginia.
I don't doubt it.
Jay Wright.
Yeah, I saw where he commented.
Those are like the two,
Aham commented.
Yep.
Saw some player comments. Jaden Gardner actually reached out to him to see if he would come on with us tonight. Didn't get a response.
Seth Greenberg had a video on ESPN, and this was right after the announcement. He was similar things to what you're saying. He was happy to find out, or it wasn't family member, or himself health related. So but all these insider people or people who have relationships personally with Tony Bennett, they're not surprised. They're only maybe a little surprised by the timeline of when he did it, but they're not surprised. Even if you see some of his quotes from Media Day, ACC Media Day, just last week.
Yeah.
And then they were asking him some questions, and he said, maybe I need to contact Jay Wright. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did. And, it's like Tony Bennett is such a bubbly, energetic person, and he's 3 weeks away. Like, you prep all year so that you can coach games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're getting ready to do the fun part. Like the whole off season, all that stuff, that's the stuff I think that he could probably do without. But you're getting ready to do the fun part of it with a team that has 7 top 100 recruits. Not obviously from one class, but overall on the roster, there's 7 guys that were top 100 recruits, the most talent we've had since the 19 championship team. But maybe he just wanted to hand the reins off at a point where he felt like this roster is ready to be successful.
I'd say, do you think that he was waiting around to see if this was going to be you got these guys in here, brought Kyle Guy back. He's got these coaches on board. They start getting a little bit of this, different style of offense a little bit. Is this going to work out? And am I leaving them in good hands?
Right.
And Tony Bennett seems like the personality of if I'm not leaving them in good hands, I'm not going to leave it like this. But I took it all the way up as far as I could take it. And I think everybody's in good hands. This coaching staff, they're in good hands. I can step away.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, that would be in line with his character and the type of just person that he is. And, he's got a lot of pride and he's very competitive. That's one of the things people like. He will smile at you, but he wants to beat you to death when that ball goes in the air.
Yep.
And he'll smile at you and do it with class and dignity, but there's nothing more he wants than to win. Personally, I hope they go Williford. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want the job to be given to Williford, simply because of his playing days being at Virginia. And he didn't leave Bennett. Not
No, he
this, I
didn't.
blame Sanchez. He had an opportunity to go be a head coach. He took it. He kind of flipped UNC Charlotte around, had 2 losing seasons. His last year at Charlotte, he was 22-14. So he took a program that was down and turned it around. I'm sure he used a lot of Tony's principles to do that. But I just hope that Williford gets the job. I appreciate his contributions. Talking with, like Dougie Fresh and Junior and those guys that played with Jason, that they talk nothing but good things about him. Coach Jeff Jones as well. I would love to see him get an opportunity and just continue to embrace our past as well as, building the future on what Coach Bennett, laid down. And again, I'm just sad.
You think so now with this happening, there's a 30-day window of a transfer portal.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Do we lose anybody?
Well, the semester's already started.
It's late in the game to make a move.
If you leave now, I mean, it's not like you can just go in and start classes right away because the semester's already underway. So you wouldn't play in the first semester if you transferred. So you're looking at not playing until mid to late January, right?
Yeah. And there's a lot of the same guys who help bring these transfers in that I believe the coaching staff is going to be intact. Just minus Tony Bennett. It's going to be a new person in charge, and
maybe they changed the role. Like, was Kyle actually an assistant coach, or was he something else?
So let me give you, because I have him pulled up right now. Somebody posted head coach Kyle guy. They got his headshot for UVA site. He's the athlete development mentor and special,
whatever. So he could slide.
He's a special assistant.
He could slide into the full-time assistant's role, or I'm sure there's other people out there that
you got Guy, you got Wilkins, you got Williford, you got Sanchez, you got Chase Coleman. I mean, it's a good staff who learned from Coach Bennett, and I hope, of course, I hope the offense is a little bit better. But I hope we remain, a defensive. We need that identity. I want an identity.
Yep.
And I like that defensive identity. We can make some adjustments defensively and offensively to be able to score the ball a little bit more. Maybe, I think Coach Bennett, I was reading, he's tired of losing out on these recruits to the NIL.
Yeah.
I mean, my supervisor called me. I don't remember if it was this week or last week. He's asking about Cam Ward.
Yeah.
And I said, to be honest with you, we lose those guys every time.
We are going to lose him. There's 2 crystal balls to Michigan State.
Michigan State. Yeah. But we lose those guys every time. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
But Bennett always gets the best out of what he brings in.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to take a coach. Like, I look at the roster for, people will point to the fact that you had 2 guys that are going to be in the NBA, and Reese and Ryan on last year's team, but neither one of those guys were offensive players, and you had nothing else around them as far as offensive players go and playmakers.
And we played 3-on-5 on offense.
Right. And we managed, or, Coach Bennett managed to make that a tournament team, albeit controversial a little bit, and then got in and didn't play well. But that's one thing I also thought about was, man, I hate that the last game that he's going to be remembered for coaching is like a 26-point loss where we scored, 42 points.
A play-in tournament game.
Yeah, I think where we scored 42 or something.
Yeah,
I wish he could have gone out with, a Sweet 16 run or something like that. But he's 55. if they could figure out this NIL stuff, I would expect he would coach again.
They said, and we know this, but they polled, and this is, I don't know what year this was. They polled all the coaches. I don't know how many coaches, and of what coach and what college basketball coach would you want to send your son to go play for?
Yeah.
And overwhelmingly, number one was Tony Bennett, because not only does he develop basketball players, he develops men. And the character that he develops with these guys, and look, believe me, like you said, he was a competitive guy. Ask Corey Alexander when when Corey wanted to give him another view with that call against Florida.
Yeah, do your job. I remember him yelling that across. Do your job.
That's right. Your job is not to add on here. So he didn't care if Corey had a view that said it was Florida ball. Shut up. The ref said Virginia ball. Let's play.
Yeah, play on.
Play on. And as we've heard the story, that the group text message, there were some F-bombs dropped at Corey Alexander himself.
I'd be curious what's going on in that group text message tonight.
I know.
We need to consult with Dougie Fresh and
Dougie, if you're listening,
see what his thoughts are.
Hit us with a comment. Shoot us a text. Tell us what your thoughts are.
We put out some content earlier today about filling the football stadium, and I thought, man, that's going to get some traction.
Jay, I thought about that.
Suddenly, there's national news that UVA is in, and
did you shoot that email out to Carla?
I did. I was thinking that too. I did email. So for those that are watching, we did an episode that we released today on how to improve attendance at Scott Stadium, and I crafted up an email with 11 ideas. 6 were short term, 5 long term.
A lot of you guys ideas.
Yes, ideas that we crafted off of the listener ideas, and sent it to Carla this afternoon, or Dr. Williams, we'll say, and just said, hey, we want to be a part of the solution.
What was
here's some ideas.
What was the subject of that email?
Hold on, I'll tell you exactly what it was.
Now, she might just go right ahead and hit that button called delete. She's got a few bigger fish to fry, a little bit more on her plate than can you imagine if she was reading your email, which was it was an email just praising up the university, but also with ideas of how we can put butts in the seats. Can you imagine if she's reading that and then she finds out Coach Bennett's leaving
as she's reading it,
and sees Cavalier Connection involved? And it's like, man, I don't know who Cavalier Connection is.
I didn't even talk about Cavalier Connection. I just said I'm a co-host of a podcast.
When she looks up Jay Ballard, and they say, and next thing you know, we're not allowed into the media section. In fact, they got our picture at the gate. Don't even let these bastards in.
Do not allow.
Oh God.
Football attendance suggestions.
Yeah. She says football attendance this. Delete. And the one thing that we talked about as we've been fortunate enough because of the University of Virginia and their athletic office to with some media credentials at the football games. The one thing I know I said, and we talked already, we were looking at the schedule and we were going to apply for some basketball credential. And the one thing I said, because I said in the post-game press conference with Coach Elliott, and I love Coach Elliott. However, I said, if I can get media credentialed to a basketball game and sit in there with Coach Bennett like that, that's something else.
Right. That's a bucket list.
That is a bucket list. In my brain, I was like, I think I'm going to get a shot. I might get a shot this year to sit in there and maybe put my hand up and ask Coach Bennett a question.
Right.
Coach Bennett, I mean, my favorite coach of any sport that I follow of all time. just
You know,
because.
there's only one guy that rivals him for me, and well, I'll say two guys. He's in the top three. The other two are both football. You know,
Joe Gibbs,
Welsh,
George
and
Welsh.
Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
Welsh and Joe Gibbs, and they're still behind. Probably, if I had to rank them, I'd probably still put Coach Bennett as number one. But
And of course I love those guys, and Welsh is right there for me as well. Below Bennett, Bennett brought us a national title, and just everything that Coach Bennett stands for, his belief system, and his personal or religious beliefs, and how he develops men. And I'm sure we were both kids when George Welsh was coaching, and
Christ.
Yeah.
I can hear ball.
Oh yeah, Christ. Look, but and I love those guys as well. But Bennett, man, he's a special guy. Two guard. I know two guard. He's been one of our followers on X. What's that?
He posted something. I was just reading when I was checking the thing of that email, and it was like, check on y'all. We need to be checked on. He
gave me a hard time earlier in the year when he said it looked like I was about to cry as I talked about Coach Bennett. And so the next episode, I was able to pull up the tears like the commercial with the trash on the ground. I had the Visine in the eyes down here, and but Bennett, man, special guy. That national title. Thank you, Coach Bennett. I never expected to see one. When I seen him cutting them nets down and that fist pump.
Yeah, both hands in the air.
Oh yeah, and then when
the yell.
One shining moment's on, and when they show him at the end with that sticker popping, the Virginia sticker, all them times on there. Yeah. Holy cows, that's stuff I'll never forget.
Yeah.
I've got one of the worst memories you could I guess have without being diagnosed. And but there's certain things that I feel like I'll probably go to the grave that's in my brain, and that's one of them. Gosh,
it's in our intro, the walking out at the trophy at the thing at Scott Stadium.
Yeah.
The 2019 national champion.
Who was it from that team that played One Shining Moment on the piano?
Baducci.
Yes,
Frankie
right.
Baducci.
Yep. It's something like that. Yeah.
Something like,
Bocelli or something. But he played One Shining Moment on the piano.
Yeah.
We had to get there for that.
Yes.
I won't missing that for nothing in the world.
No.
And so we were actually family vacation heading to this. I guess you wouldn't say it's out of the way, but we were going to Gatlinburg, Smoky Mountain area. We went there first, enjoyed that celebration, went to the baseball game versus Miami that day.
Went to Mentor's and got some gear, obviously.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's where you should always go to get your gear is
Garrett Mentor's.
Mentor's.
Hint, hint. New things coming to the Cavalier Connection. But I don't know what else to say, Jay. It's shell shock. My heart sunk when I saw it. My supervisor actually saw it before me and immediately texted me. Like I said, we don't have insider information. I think some people, I know my supervisor knows I don't, but some people feel like, we got to reach out. I didn't know.
I had a few people reaching out, like, what's the story? I'm like,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. He asked me, and I said, I thought, is he playing? And then, and his thoughts were, I'm sick.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way. Your heart sinks, like you said, like a family member, something's happened to them, but
I think about the loss to UMBC too. With the joy comes in the morning, and hopefully there'll be some joy to come from this.
Yep.
From Brian Cotton, am I the only person who feels a little bit betrayed by the timing of all this? I can't say I feel betrayed, Brian. You everybody's going to have their own feelings and emotions. Nothing's wrong with feeling however you feel. But
Feelings.
but
I'm sure there are people out there who definitely, you're definitely not the only person, Brian. I'm sure of that. I've read some stuff.
yeah.
But um,
The timing, I just can't believe a man with his character would intentionally do this. And so I gotta think, it was one of them things where, yeah, I mean that was again, Brian. That was my first thought. I hope he's not got some disease that is, going to be bad for him or family member, and so we're thankful for that. Obviously, not being the case, and there'll be speculation, and I'm sure the facts will come out. Hopefully, he'll clear the air tomorrow.
I think tomorrow he's going to say, I feel like I know exactly what he's going to say is, I realized that I didn't have the fire that it was going to take to go out and appropriately, or, I don't know exact wording, coach
didn't have the passion
to go out and coach this team the way they deserve to be coached.
Yeah.
And so I knew I needed to step down, and that's just it.
And they will be asked, when did you come to this decision? And I think the answer is going to be, well, obviously it's been on my mind, but I didn't make the decision until now.
Right.
I mean, I don't think it was something where I can't believe it was something where he purposely misled everyone.
No.
And decided at the last second, we're going to pull. I mean, that would be like a coup of the head coaching position. And I can't believe that Tony would do that. So
Coach Bennett and what he's done in his 15 years and how he's conducted himself, for me, gives him benefit of the doubt all day long. Like,
for sure.
I don't believe for a second. I mean, he's just got the best of intentions. I believe some people will get up there and they're going to BS you in what they're going to say. And I believe what he's going to say is,
you think about like a Nick Saban, who, I'm not leaving the Dolphins
right
for Alabama. And then the next day it's, or 2 days later, I'm the head coach of, Alabama or, whatever it was.
We're with you, Brian, on that for sure. Hope we get some answers for sure. Nothing but respect for everything he's done. He'll always be one of the most important sports figures in UVA history. I had always said once Coach K retired and, Roy Williams was out, I'm like, this is his conference.
Yeah, I wish he would have had a little more run as it being his, because they've only been gone, 2 years?
Yeah, and I wish the other thing I really wanted to see is I just wanted to see this year with the change in the offensive system. I just wanted to see, like, I wanted it to see it. Obviously I wanted to be successful, and I wanted him to be able to tell all the naysayers, take what they say, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Like, look, I am a good coach. I've seen some, some commentary out there that, quite frankly, pisses me off when it's just stupid people with comments and basketball thanks you for leaving, like thank God you're out, those kind of things. Basketball
ironic takes. Crazy thing, Jeff. Crazy thing. I hadn't talked about this. I posted an article today.
Yep.
Before all this broke, that said, I can't believe there's actually people out here that have a take like this. This is moronic. Yeah. Somebody wrote an article. I don't even know, who for what. Didn't really matter to me. I read the article, and it was saying that he should be on the hot seat.
Yep.
Tony Bennett on the hot seat. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, geez. And then that news breaks.
I know. I saw the article. I saw when you retweeted it or put it out and said, about the morons. And I just decided, as your parents would tell you, they're not worth your time.
Yeah.
And I'm not engaging those people, even though I started to engage. Like, I'm not engaging. They're idiots.
Yeah, you're not going to change.
And their university would be a better place if they had Tony Bennett. I can promise you that.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what university you're speaking of.
Yep. Tony Bennett's going to win for you, and even if he doesn't, finish the whole deal, he's going to put people in the pros, and he's going to develop better men.
Yep.
If you look at society today and the stories that are out there, and things that people are getting into, and then you look at Tony Bennett's, look at people who play for Tony Bennett. Tell me a story. Just give me one story.
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
Not you're talking. I'm assuming you're saying give me one bad thing that's happened under his watch, and I can't.
Or these players when they left.
Scandal? What scandal has there been?
When they left the university, there's not been a scandal of this person got arrested.
No, the biggest thing you had was somebody being upset about playing time, and like Caden Shedrick.
Right.
That's probably the biggest thing that happened.
Correct. And if that's the biggest thing that happened, you got a dang good coach.
Yep.
You got a good person overseeing your basketball program.
Yep.
Well, we definitely wanted to get on tonight and just speak to it a little bit when we had a few minutes. I don't know if we'll be able to. I don't know what you got tomorrow. If we want to get on at some point,
it'll be later tomorrow night for me again, more than likely. But I would love to get on and talk about the press conference.
Yeah. And then, yep, big football game Saturday too. So, but yeah,
hit that subscribe button if you can. We'd appreciate it on YouTube. That helps. Put a thumbs up on the video. That helps. And then just go through our content. We've got a lot of stuff out there. And
also, if you haven't looked at the video or the one we released today, we released a few. But if you haven't checked out the Butts in the Seats episode, go check that one out and put your comments in on your ideas. We gave our ideas, only 35 minutes or 30 minutes, something like that. So it's a short episode, and just a lot of content. It's really, the content is from all of you. We took all of your ideas. We discussed all of your ideas. We came up with a list of things that could be done right away, things that we could look to in the future. Check it out. Hit us with a nice subscribe, and we'd appreciate that for sure. Coach Bennett, happy trails to you. I'll be interested to hear what you have to say tomorrow, but we thank you for what you did for UVA basketball. And
yep. Thank you, Coach Bennett, and we will hopefully have him as a part of the program, even still that he won't be coaching, but we're just grateful for all you've done for the university. So go Hoos.
Go Hoos.